So, you've finally picked a class in Lost Ark, you're leveling it, but something about it just isn't clicking quite yet. Is this not the right class for you, or are you simply missing the part of the class that will make it all come together? Today we'll be going over an extremely important piece of what makes each class in Lost Ark their own, the awakening skills. When you can unlock them, how you unlock them, and then finally a showcase of each and every one in the game currently. So, what is an awakening skill? It is also sometimes referred to as an ultimate ability, and there is pretty good reason for that, as these tend to be extremely powerful, and they all have 5-minute cooldowns. These are your biggest, fanciest moments for each class, and so if your class has felt like it was maybe missing a little bit of oomph, the secret may be right here. Every class in the game has 2 awakening skills, so you can only have one of them active at a time. You can unlock these skills at level 50 once you have progressed far enough with the blue quests in Vern to reach the objective to visit Beatrice in Trixion. She will then give you a purple quest that says Awakening at the start. If you follow these purple quests for an hour or two, you'll unlock the first awakening skill for your class. For the second one, it gets a little bit more complex. Of course, you still do follow the purple quest line further, but it will bring you to Rohendel on the western side of the map. To access the western side of the map, in general, you need to have a tier 2 ship, which you unlock from the guide quest, The Curtain of Proteus in Vern. And then you'll need to be around 460 eye level to proceed to Rohendel, where you will need to complete the main story of the area before the awakening quest will continue. And this will be about 4 to 6 hours of further time spending, so be ready to get in it for the long haul if you want this second awakening skill. After all, this is an MMO. That said, it's an upgrade that will apply to all of your characters, meaning once you have done this once, your other characters will be able to get their second awakening skill at the same time they get their first one. So while this process is a little bit long, it is at least alt-friendly, which is great for me personally as someone that is absolutely addicted to alts. Using an awakening skill will also consume a chaos shard, which you can buy at most level 50 area general merchants. Now, diving into awakening skills available for each class, for the Berserker you have Berserk Fury, a charged attack where you channel your sheer rage into the weapon itself to deliver a massive forward slash that does significantly more damage and has much longer range when the attack is fully charged. As well, the Berserker gets Chain of Vengeance, a nice little imitation of the Gunlancer that throws out chains in all directions, pulls all enemies in, and deals a load of damage to everything hit. The Paladin has Alathane's Judgment, a point target ability where you jump straight up in the air, turn into an embodiment of holy light itself, then superhero landing into the floor, making a bunch of ethereal spikes pop up, doing some damage while also giving a gigantic shield to all party members that lasts for 10 seconds. The Paladin also gets Alathane's Light, a skill where you gather the light energy into your sword and then release it in 2 forward strikes purely for damage and no other reason. Gunlancer gets Guardian's Protection, refilling your shield meter completely and shoving out a giant safety circle with a protection aura that gives all allies a 40% damage reduction as well as dealing damage and stunning all enemies in the area. Gunlancer also gets Lance of Judgment, which summons a radiant lance down from the sky to pierce your foes, dealing a bunch of damage, launching them into the air, and giving all nearby party members an extra 10% crit rate for 10 seconds. Moving on to the Martial Artist, the Striker gets Explosive Heat Awakening, which essentially just attacks forward with explosive power 4 times in a row. If you fail to hit an enemy at any point in this combo, it will stop. If you miss the first attack, then there won't be a second attack. If you miss the second attack, there won't be a third attack, so on and so forth. Striker also gets True Heavenly Awakening, which has you sort of focus your energy into your leg before doing a nice long forward kick combo. This one is pretty straightforward, really. Wardancer has Fist of Dominance, creating a circle around you that pulls enemies in. Then you bounce off around the edges of the circle, then absorb the energy in to then release it for a final strike into the ground. You also take 80% reduced damage during this attack. Wardancer also has Flash Rage Blow, which does a short dash forward, then punches for a long time before dealing an explosive finish. Is this a JoJo's reference? Scrapper gets Undefeated Dragon King, where you target a point in front of you, then spawn 2 fucking dragon heads, yes, dragon heads, out from behind you and coordinate a strike between the 3 of you in the middle, causing a slight bit of volcanic rock to fling out from the ground. This one is really cool. Scrapper also gets Blast of Ruination. After a short period of time gathering energy in your gauntlet, you thrust forward, dealing damage and knockback for 14 meters, quite literally throwing your foes aside. Soulfist has Annihilating Ray, a holding attack that is essentially a Kamehameha wave, which then doubles upon itself with a Spirit Friend sending out an aftershock after the fact, dealing a load of damage. Soulfist also has World Decimation, which is, well, a spirit bomb. Me and many others call this the Dragon Ball class for a good reason. You gather energy above your head into a large sphere, then throw it down to the target area, dealing a massive blast of damage. Onward now to the Gunners. Gunslinger gets Eye of Twilight, a cinematic as all damn hell move where you look away from your target and just have a bit of a high noon quick draw showdown with them real quickly. Your target also gets a 80% move speed reduction and a 40% attack speed reduction for 3.5 seconds. Sorry, this is a cowboy move, so I had to use my cowboy voice. The Gunslinger also gets High Caliber HE Bullet, which essentially fires a small missile payload from your gun, which leads to an explosion upon impact, surprisingly, with the first enemy in its path. The Deadeye has Bursting Flare, which brings out a massive high-powered rifle to take some hefty shots, decimating all enemies in a line in front of them. Deadeye also has Clay Bombardment, where you throw up a bunch of clay bombs into the sky, then shoot them with your handguns to destroy them all, raining down pain on enemies below, and also launching them into the air. Artillerist gets Missile Barrage, which fires a load of missiles into the sky before they converge upon the target location, dealing a load of damage to everything in the general vicinity. Artillerist also gets Heavy Turret, summoning a, well, very heavy-looking turret, which then proceeds to fire goddamn lasers, as well as satellite-guided bombs for 20 seconds. This thing is intense, it is absolutely threatening, and it is not something you want to get on the bad side of. In case you were wondering, the bad side is the side that it shoots out of. Sharpshooter has Fenrir's Messenger, a charged attack that grows in size depending on how long you hold the button for, releasing forward a strange tech spirit wolf trampling your enemies for damage over time. Sharpshooter also has Goldeneye. No, not that Goldeneye. This Goldeneye summons 4 golden hawks to fly in a circle, creating a small tornado and giving yourself stealth for a short period of time. Next, we move on to the 2 mages, starting with the Bard, which gets Oratorio, playing an oversized harp with a chorus of angels, dealing a decent chunk of damage, as well as applying a debuff to any enemies in the effect, giving them a 12% crit resistance reduction for 6 seconds. The Bard also gets Symphonia, raising you up into the air before applying a massive shield to all party members within 12 meters for 10 seconds, as well as dealing damage to enemies and applying a debuff that reduces their attack power by 30%, their attack speed by 20%, and their move speed by 40% for 10 seconds. The Sorceress has Envisca's Might, generating a sphere of lightning around the Sorceress for a ton of damage on top of her while also pulling enemies towards her. The sphere then pulses out damage before popping to deal a bunch more damage. The Sorceress also has Incinerate, which after a short cast time begins a literal meteor storm in your location, filling your entire screen with flaming rocks falling from the sky, dealing, you guessed it, a load of damage. Finally then, the Assassin class, starting with the Deathblade, we have Flash Blink, which is a typical sword fighter style move of dashing through your opponent, then they react to being cut after the fact, being launched into the air as well. And then Deathblade also gets Blade Assault, a holding attack combo that pulls enemies into its path. If you hit the perfect zone, you will summon even more blades to then deal even more damage and knockback as well. The Shadowhunter has Gate of Eruption, which summons a circle of growing demonic energy and also growing demonic limbs made of flesh that then explode upon completion, inflicting damage and fear to any enemies caught inside for 4 seconds. Finally, the Shadowhunter has Fallen Rune, jumping straight up into the air and unleashing a hail of demonic energy bolts back down to the ground, which both explodes on impact and has a sizable aftershock as well, which knocks back any enemies caught within. And that is every single awakening ability currently available on the Western servers of Lost Ark, as well as how to unlock said abilities upon hitting level 50. Has this information helped you out at all, or has it just made it even harder to settle on a main class to play? Like if you like the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice. to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.